This want to bring in CTV News U.S. political analyst Eric Ham. Eric, thanks for being here. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
So another dump of documents yesterday, too, and we talk about, it's taking a while to sift through. Again, it's just going to take some time. Any more damaging for the president in this round than the last rounds of what we've seen so far?
Well, yes. In fact, there is in these documents now an accusation from an alleged victim that Donald Trump actually raped her. And so, again, as these documents become more public, what we're seeing here is they're becoming also more of an embarrassment, more of a political hindrance to the president as, again, his name continues to be featured prominently along with other very powerful men, which was, of course, one of the biggest reasons why so many people, including President Donald Trump's own base, wanted to see these documents actually released.
And so when we talk about that, too, this is not necessarily, again, when it comes to accusations of this nature with the president, many in the White House has been vehemently and adamant about, defending Donald Trump in the past, clearly. And even the DOJ going so far as to say that there are false claims in these documents, at least at this point. What is the political fallout here, too? Is there going to be any as we, again, watch still and these documents continue to be released?
Yeah, the fallout continues to grow both wide and deep. Not only are there growing calls for increased investigations into how particularly many of these influential figures featured prominently in Epstein's world, but more importantly, now we see calls for censure, impeachment of President Donald Trump's own attorney general, to say nothing of now growing questions demanding President Trump answer his ties to, and also these accusations surrounding an alleged rape. What was he doing on the plane? Of course, there was the note that featured President Trump and Epstein on a plane with, again, another 20-year-old person. What actually happened on that plane? What in terms of those events. And so, again, we're seeing more and more questions without any answers. And, of course, we see, as the picture is showing there, a former President Bill Clinton, as well as other figures being wrapped up in this dragnet. And so, again, it shows just how wide this Epstein swath continues to go. And, of course, this is certainly going to play out politically for President Donald Trump as these questions begin to grow louder, particularly during the upcoming midterm elections.
Right. Again, we've got midterms next year. We continue to talk about some of the fractures that we're seeing within the Republican Party about this. I want to ask you too, Eric, at least at this point, what moving forward, we're going to continue to see dumps like this as far as we understand, because there are thousands of documents and there's been talk about transparency. They understand, there's a lot to get into with the AI and some of, something that was proven to be false, at least some of those letters. But what are we looking forward to now as we finish out 2025 and then possibly into the new year?
Well, here's the thing. This is now becoming more of a slow drip. And as we get a drip, we again get more salacious details surrounding President Trump and his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. And because the DOJ did not release all of these documents as they should have, as the law dictated a week ago, what we're now seeing is these slow releases are continuing to drag out the scandal, continuing to drag out the questions. And it's making it now where not only is the president now forced to answer these questions, but his supporters and, of course, many of those Republican lawmakers who are looking at their races next year are also forced to answer the question. And then there's still the very real possibility that there could be more push for greater transparency in terms of lawmakers from the president's own party now seeking more laws, more legislation to get more answers. And again, it's just becoming increasingly problematic for the president trying to hold his base together while all of this is happening.
CTV News U.S. political analyst Eric Ham. Eric, always appreciate your insight. Thank you for this, sir.
You bet. Thank you.